These are the best bourbons at every price point. Let's dive in. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. So probably one of the major questions that we all face as we hunt down and buy and add to our collections in the whiskey world is the bottle in front of me worth the price tag? In an effort to help drive some clarity there, I wanted to put together a list of some of the best bottles that I've encountered at each price point. So we'll go from $20, basically as cheap as it gets in the bourbon world these days, all the way up to $100 at $10 increments. And I'll give you one pick, one bottle for each of those that I think is just really, really great and stands out among the crowd. Hopefully this list is helpful if you're just getting into whiskey and maybe you've only spent up to $30 so far. You'll have some options for that $40, $50 mark. Or if you've been spending more regularly in that $60 range, maybe you're looking to go up more toward that $70, $80, $100 mark and see what's available. So you'll find some bottles no matter which price point you're at right now. Okay, without further ado, let's dive into the list. Let's go to the $20 price point. So for this one, again, it's about as cheap as you can get in the bourbon world, and I think there's one that really stands out among the crowd, and that is Evan Williams Bottled in Bond. No doubt you've heard other people highlighting this bottle because it's so cheap and the quality is there. This is a great mixer, one of my favorites that stands up to cocktails. I don't particularly love sipping on it neat very often. I think there's a little bit of a harsh peanut shell note there for me, but I know others who really just enjoy sipping on it neat as well. But basically, for under $20, pretty much guaranteed, it's hard to beat. All right, let's move on to the $30 price point. Now, the $30 price point does open up a lot of new avenues. There's a lot competing in this realm. I wanted to pick one that I think not a lot of people talk about often enough, and it's just really, really good, and that is Cooper's Craft 100. Cooper's Craft 100 is a Brown-Forman product, so it's got this rich, brown, sugary, maple syrupy sweetness, and then it's got really nice pop of cherry as well. They actually chisel out parts of the inside of the barrel to get more surface area interacting with the whiskey in this particular product. So it's got a little extra oaky kick to it. This rivals like Early Times Bottled in Bond. If you're a Wild Turkey 101 fan, an OGD 114 fan, this sits right in that category, and I think it is a standout for sure. Moving right along to the $40 price point. So again, adding those $10 starts to get you even more options out there. I think it's hard to beat this brand right now though in that $35 to $40 market because they've just released three things that are awesome. So for me, that is Green River Rye. So I've got the rye, which kind of, goes outside the bourbon world, but their wheated bourbon and their standard bourbon, I've tasted both, and they're both really, really quality too, usually around $35 to $40, like I said. So this Green River Rye is awesome. It's so full of cherry and apple, and it's just a little bit spicy. It's a 95.5 rye, so if you haven't had that kind of heavy rye experience, recommend this. But again, the whole Green River standard lineup at around that $40 price point is awesome. Next up is the $50 price point. And this is where we start to get some absolute heavy hitters, but if you ask me, none of them quite has the consistent, amazing quality, quite like Wild Turkey Rare Breed. As you can see, my bottle is empty and does need replenishing because man, this is tasty stuff. I've given it as gifts multiple times. It's 116 proof, which gets you right in that realm of really packs a punch. So much cinnamon, brown sugar. One of the best Wild Turkey offerings and just so classic and awesome for around $50. I'd put this up against a lot of bottles that are $100 plus, and I think it would take them down. Okay, let's add $10 more and move on to the $60 price point. Again, we're starting to open up maybe single barrel options, finished whiskey. A lot becomes possible here. But honestly, I think there's one high octane option out there that continues to get slept on a little bit, and it's awesome, and that is Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Barrel Proof Bourbon. So recently they released their rye option, the Barrel Proof Rye, and that got a lot of talk. A lot of people were praising that because, admittedly, it's awesome. But in all that hoopla, the bourbon kind of faded into the background, and honestly, it's still so good. Banana, brown sugar up the wazoo, vanilla punch. These things come in around 130 proof, and honestly, if you're looking for something with so much flavor for around $60, might have to go up to like 65 on this one in some places, but by golly, this one packs a wallop, and it is so much fun to sip on and just feel like it's knocking your socks off. So for around $60, this is what I'd pick for this price point. Let's keep this train rolling and move on to the $70 price point. This one, surprisingly, was probably the easiest pick for me. There's one bottle that stands out in my mind at that $70 mark that just speaks of quality and awesomeness. And that is, you guessed it, Knob Creek 12. One of my favorite bourbons of all time. You get that 12-year age statement. You get that rich oak, popping vanilla, warm brown sugar. It is a phenomenal pour at 100 proof, and that $70 price point, it just, it hits the spot. I'm willing to pay that $70 over and over again to keep this one stocked because I just love the profile. I think it's hard to beat that 12-year age statement as well at this price point. Okay, let's climb the ladder with 10 more dollars and go up to that $80 price point. At this price point, probably my all-time favorite option. One, because it's just so good, but two, because of the variety, is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So if you can get your hands on this, they release it 3 times a year. You get a new batch 3 times a year, and that means new flavors, new things to explore. You get to compare the batches at the end of the year if you can collect multiple, and that is a ton of fun. But the quality here is always great. And honestly, the fact that this still has a $75 MSRP, you will see it marked up a little bit because it's tougher to find at times. But honestly, the fact that it still has that low of an MSRP is kind of crazy, and it's just still a steal at that price. So Elijah Craig Barrel Proof continues to wow me. There's been fluctuation in batches. The age statement went away. It used to be a 12-year age statement. But even with all the fluctuation, the quality for around $75 to that $80 price point is still there pretty much every single time, guaranteed. All right, let's move right along to the $90 price point. So when we're up at the $90 range, you really want to be discerning, and you want to know that the bottle you're paying for is gonna deliver, because that's quite a lot to spend on something that doesn't last forever and it goes away once you drink it. In my opinion, there's a brand out there that's doing great things. Some people turn away from it because it sits more at that $90 price point, but by golly, they make great stuff. So my bottle is Barrel Vantage. So Barrel Craft Spirits is a wonderful blender of whiskey. Everything I've tasted from them has been really, really good. Their core lineup, it does fluctuate. I've seen some on sale for more like $75, but it sits right at that like $90 MSRP kind of mark. Barrel Vantage is awesome. This is a blend of straight bourbons finished in Mizunara French and toasted American oak. It tastes like peaches and cream and spice to me. It's really, really good. I've got the Seagrass Rye from Barrel, and honestly, each time I purchased a new Barrel product and thought to myself, is this gonna be worth that like $90 I spent on it? It has absolutely delivered. So I can totally recommend trying a Barrel product around that price point. All right, let's move on to our last price point, the $100 price point. Okay, so this is our last stop in this video. It's gonna be our cap today. What can you go out and spend $100 on, one Benjamin, and feel really good and know that you're gonna get high quality and a great sipping experience? For me, there's one clear bottle that stands out, and that is Four Roses Single Barrel Barrel Strength. So these come in around $100. There's 10 different recipes that Four Roses uses, and they offer each of those at barrel strength. So if you can find these, you get to collect different recipes, try different kind of nuances in their mash bills, and man, each time I've had one, it's been awesome. These are just really, really good products for that $100 price point. And the fact that they're nuanced single barrels that add a little bit of intrigue and fun and variety just makes it all the more worth it to go out and spend that $100 on this product. All right, everybody, that's gonna be my list of the best bourbons, or at least what I'm thinking right now are really high quality options at each of the price points from $20 all the way up to $100. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this list and maybe what would go on your own personal list. Did I miss anything? Am I way off base? Did I totally nail it and you think that this is exactly what your list would be like? Would love to hear what you think in the comments below and start a conversation. While you're at it, hit the like button on this video, helps get it out to more people. And then please do consider subscribing to the channel. I plan to keep releasing some great, fun, relaxing, hopefully entertaining content for you for the rest of 2024 and beyond. Until I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey and cheers.